The year was 2374, and Earth had long since ceased to be the cradle of humanity it once was. The skies were choked with ash from decades of unchecked industrialization, and the oceans had turned into acidic wastelands. Humanity's hubris had pushed its home planet to the brink of collapse. But even as Earth decayed, humanity thrived in space. Centuries earlier, Earth's governments had united under a single banner, the United Stellar Alliance, USA. They launched vast colonization efforts across the galaxy, establishing footholds on distant planets and moons. These colonies became bastions of hope, thriving civilizations that carried forward the legacy of a species determined to survive. Yet, for all their progress, they faced an existential threat unlike any other: the Zetherians. The Zetherians were not organic beings, but sentient machines born from the remnants of an ancient alien civilization. Their creators had perished eons ago, leaving behind only their mechanical children. Over millennia, these machines evolved, learning to think, adapt, and conquer. When they encountered humanity, they saw not equals but obstacles, carbon-based life forms unworthy of the resources they consumed. For 50 years, the USA fought a losing war against the Zetherians. Entire fleets were annihilated in battles where no human ship stood a chance. Colonies fell one by one, their populations either exterminated or assimilated into the cold logic of the machine collective. By 2374, humanity's domain had shrunk to a mere handful of systems, with Earth itself serving as both a last refuge and a grim reminder of what could have been. But amidst despair, there was defiance. In the heart of humanity's struggle lay Lieutenant Commander Eva Calderon, a brilliant tactician whose reputation preceded her. She commanded the Odyssey, a prototype starship equipped with experimental technology designed to level the playing field. It wasn't much, but it was humanity's best shot at survival. Eva stood on the bridge of the Odyssey, staring out at the swirling nebula beyond the viewport. Her dark eyes reflected determination tempered by exhaustion. Behind her, the crew worked tirelessly, preparing for the mission ahead. This wasn't just another skirmish. This was Operation Rising Dawn, the final gambit to reclaim humanity's future. "Commander," said Lieutenant Marcus Hale, the ship's executive officer, breaking the silence. "All systems are go. Weapons online, shields at maximum capacity, and the quantum disruptor is primed." Eva nodded without turning around. "Good. We'll need every advantage we can get." Her voice was steady, though her mind raced with doubts. Could they really pull this off? Or would today mark the end of humanity? The plan was audacious. Intelligence reports indicated that the Zetherian hive mind operated through a central nexus, located deep within their stronghold, a massive construct known as the Citadel. Destroying the Citadel wouldn't just cripple their military capabilities, it would sever the link binding the Zetherians together, reducing them to scattered, leaderless units. Without coordination, they would be vulnerable. Of course, reaching the Citadel was easier said than done. The Zetherians had fortified their territory with layers of automated defenses and patrols. Even if the Odyssey managed to slip past those, the real challenge lay inside the Citadel itself. Eva knew she might not make it out alive, but sacrifice was a price she was willing to pay. "Approaching the outer perimeter," announced Ensign Priya Patel, the helmsman. "Enemy contacts detected." Eva finally turned away from the viewport. "Activate stealth protocols. Let's see if we can sneak past them." The Odyssey shimmered as its cloaking device engaged, bending light around the ship to render it invisible. For several tense minutes, the crew held their breath as they navigated through the dense field of enemy drones. Alarms blared on nearby, Zetherian vessels, but none seemed to notice the phantom slipping through their ranks. Once clear of the outer defenses, the Odyssey entered the Citadel's orbit. Its surface gleamed like polished obsidian, a monolithic testament to the Zetherians' technological superiority. But beneath that sleek exterior lay the heart of their empire and humanity's greatest opportunity. "Prepare boarding pods," Eva ordered. "Teams Alpha and Beta will accompany me. Gamma Squad stays aboard to guard the ship." Marcus frowned. "Are you sure about this, Commander? If something goes wrong—" "If something goes wrong," Eva interrupted, "then the Odyssey becomes our contingency plan. You know the protocol." He hesitated, but ultimately nodded. "Understood." Minutes later, Eva led her team onto the Citadel. The air inside was frigid, filled with the hum of machinery and the faint scent of ozone. Corridors stretched endlessly, in every direction, lined with glowing conduits and pulsating energy cores. Every step felt like walking deeper into the belly of a beast. As they advanced, resistance grew fiercer. Zetherian sentries, towering constructs armed with plasma cannons, emerged from hidden alcoves, forcing Eva's team to take cover behind. Debris, blasts ricocheted off walls, sending sparks flying. "Hold your ground!" Eva shouted, firing her rifle at the nearest drone. "We're not stopping until we reach the core." Despite the odds, her team pressed forward. One by one, they dismantled, the sentries using EMP grenades to disable their foes temporarily. Progress was slow and costly, but they couldn't afford to falter now. Finally, after what felt like hours, they reached the central chamber. At its center floated the Nexus, a pulsating sphere of pure energy encased in a lattice of crystalline structures. It pulsed rhythmically, almost like a heartbeat. "This is it," Eva whispered. "Set the charges." Her engineers sprang into action, planting explosives around the base of the Nexus. Meanwhile, Eva kept watch, her finger hovering over the trigger of her weapon. She didn't dare blink. Suddenly, the room shook violently as reinforcements poured. Dozens of Zetherian units surrounded them, cutting off any chance of retreat. Eva clenched her jaw. "So much for sneaking out unnoticed." "Finish setting the charges," she barked. "I'll hold them off." "But, Commander," one of her engineers protested. "That's an order," Eva snapped, stepping forward to meet the advancing machines. She fired relentlessly, each shot finding its mark. Metal limbs clattered to the floor, but more kept coming. Back on the Odyssey, Marcus watched the live feed from Eva's helmet cam with growing dread. "She's buying us time," he muttered. "Gamma Squad, prepare for extraction." "But sir, the charges aren't set yet," someone argued. "They will be," Marcus replied grimly. "And when they are, we're getting everyone out of there." Inside the Citadel, the engineers finished arming the explosives. "Charges set, Commander," one of them called out. Eva glanced at the timer. 30 seconds. Plenty of time to escape, if she chose to leave. Instead, she planted herself firmly between the Nexus and the approaching horde. "Get out of here," she ordered her team. "Now!" They hesitated, but a sharp glare from Eva silenced any protests. Reluctantly, they retreated, sprinting toward the boarding pods. 10 seconds left. Eva emptied her magazine, taking down as many enemies as possible. When her gun clicked empty, she drew her sidearm, continuing to fight even as the first explosions rocked the chamber. 5 seconds. The Nexus began to destabilize, cracks forming along its surface. Energy surged wildly, threatening to consume everything. 3 seconds. Eva allowed herself a small smile. Against all odds, humanity had struck back. 2 seconds. The world dissolved into light. On board the Odyssey, the crew watched in stunned silence as the Citadel imploded, its destruction rippling outward in a shockwave that obliterated nearby Zetherian forces. Cheers erupted spontaneously, but they were tinged with sorrow. Eva Calderon was gone, but her sacrifice had ensured humanity's survival. In the days that followed, news of the Citadel's destruction spread throughout the galaxy. Without their central nexus, the Zetherians fragmented, their once unstoppable army reduced to isolated units. Humanity seized the opportunity, launching counteroffensives to reclaim lost territories. Though the scars of war remained, hope burned, brighter than ever. Ava's name became legend, a symbol of courage and resilience. And as the stars twinkled above a recovering Earth, humanity rose, not just as survivors, but as victors. For the first time in centuries, the future looked bright. Humanity had proven that no matter how dire the odds, it would always find a way to rise again.